Hello everyone. Now, the duties of Linux system administrator. First of all, who is the system administrator, or what are the roles, what are the responsibilities of system administrator? Say, this administrator task, which is very important to manage our system, to secure our system. Many different roles of administrator are there. Okay, let's see in detail what are the duties of Linux system administrator. Okay, so first of all, who is the system administrator? The system administrator is a person who has the entire authority to configure the system. Normally every system has its own administrator, right? You are also administrator of your system because of you configured login with your name, and also you set some password also, right? Means you are the system administrator of your system because of everything, every part, every process managed by yourself, right? So you are the system administrator of your system. Same, every system has its own system administrator. Normally, this admin is a person who has the access and authority to operate the system. So, in Linux operating system also, means in Linux operating system, admin is known as to be a super user or a root user, who is the owner of the system, who has the all right to access to manage the system. Normally, we call a root user or a super user. Okay, so in users of Linux system contains two types of users. One is a root user that we call the owner or super user also, right? And second is the regular users. And as we know, the Linux is a multi-user system, right? So multiple users uh, can log in to the system also, right? Let's see in detail what are the exact duties of this administrator, right? So first of all, make no mistake, right? So this is very important because of administrator is very responsible person of very responsible user of that system. So Linux system administrator are likely to understand the necessity of active system administrator. Means your system administrator should be very active in a whole day. Our system should be very active in whole day. So whatever come on the computer, it should be check it properly. Means it should be properly configured or not. Means whatever the software is installing on the system is from is a license copy or not, right, etc. So in short, that administrator should be means active in a whole day, right? Then next is what installing and configuring servers. This is very important responsibility of system administrator because of this server. And as we know, the server, that means of is the system where the means a task of the system is to provide the service, right, to all the clients, whichever that clients are connected to that particular system, right? So this is very important responsibility of system administrator. Okay, so what are the tasks of administrator to manage the servers? Means installing the servers and configuring the servers. By default, number of servers is means on Linux. By default, that all the servers is installed. You need to just configure it. Means administrator, whichever based on the use, right? Means whatever the use of the server, only that particular servers need to be configured. Sorry. Okay, next different types of servers into Linux. So each carrying different functionalities are there. Okay, and means most of the servers in Linux are turned by default, right? So for example, say suppose the standard Red Hat Linux graphical user interface GUI, right, means it requires the graphical layer called x386, and now this x386, this is a server, right? And by default this server is in running. Okay, so the system admin must ensure to know what servers we need and how to use them. right? Because of each and every server has a different role, right? Specific role. So the administrator should be know what exact the use of that server, right? So based on the needs requirements, that administrator need to be install and configure that particular server. So our administrator should be aware of, again, should be aware of security threats, means what are the different security threats are there, and how to manage if any means if any active attack is from outside, then that administrator should be know, should be manage that the attack, right? So based on it, which server should be enable and disable it, right? That all the things needs to be checked it properly by the administrator. So this is very important duty of Linux system administrator, right? The next, that is of installing and configuring application software. This is again very important because of, see, Linux is a multi-user system, right? Means on a single system many users can log in and can work at the same time also, right? So which user needs of what type of a software or package, right? So based on it, that installation of and configuring this application software should be done, right? So individual user can perform actions of installing application to his home directory also, right? But the administrator task is what? The administrator can limit which user may use which application by creating a group, right? Means with the help of the creating a group and set the permission to access that single particular application, right, to that particular group, means automatically whatever that total number of users in that group can access that particular software, correct? So in Linux, new software packages might be installed in /opt directory. That /opt is a directory, okay? So if they need to be upgraded from the Red Hat Linux distribution itself, right? Means suppose many of the softwares are there that we need to be upgraded automatically, right? Means that particular software or application should be installed under the /opt directory, correct? So some packages may need to go in user directory also, means /usr/local directory, or even /usr also. So if they are upgraded of packages, install as a part of Red Hat Linux. The /usr is the command for users, right? So in Linux operating system, the location of the installation usually matters. So automatically that's all the things should be done by the administrator. So every time whichever the software is installing on the system, that administrator need to be check it, yes, that particular software installation location it's properly or not, right? The next duty is what? Creating and maintaining user accounts. See, so creating and maintaining user account, this is also very important. Why? Because of Linux is a multi-user system again, right? See, Linux is a multi-user system. Then, so for each and every user, means that particular account, right, must be created for each and every user, and thus a task should be performed by the system admin. Means system admin may do this only, right? And users select their own password, right? But how to set the password also, means administrator should be give some ideas to that particular user to select the password or to set the password. But how to set the password, right? Means users select their own password, okay, but make them easier to remember, but probably not to be easily cracked also, right? So the admin decided that user must change their password periodically, or sometimes in Linux system also some like means from the system automatically send some notification to that particular user after 1 month or after 1 week. Yes, that particular users you need to change your password also, right? So again the admin decide that user must change their password also again, right? So periodically and from the users to do so configure Red Hat Linux also. Then what about the old accounts, right? Means sometimes some organizational employees, right, if suppose that employee left from the company, then what about that the user that employee account, right? So for old accounts, perhaps someone has left the company, simply delete the account, or whatever the task, whatever the data into that account, yes, take a backup. If the important data is there, then take a backup of this. So this task is performed by your administrator. Okay. Then next duty is for backing up and restoring files. See, as been you everyone knows that what is the use of backup, right? And restoring data, because of many of the times, suppose your system failure time, then yes, if you have some backup of your data, then you can easily restore it, right? So different types of backups are also there. But before that, what is the use of backup and restoring files? You need to check it, right? So for a backup, Linux distribution provides a built-in security features, right? Means in Linux system also some inbuilt features to take a backup automatically. Means user need not to be take a backup manually, right? So Linux may not allow users to be able to even to back up their own files to floppy disk or any removable storage medium, right? So user needs to be just check out that yes, what is the data that need to be take a backup, right? Means once we have decided, means that particular user decided what to take a backup, then we need to decide only thing, that is of how to take a backup. Now how to take a backup means what, right? Means yes, you need to take a full backup. See, there are two types of backup system, means incremental backup or full backup, right? Means incremental backup, that means of what, yes, you already take a backup, right? Now what is the next task? That only part take it as a backup, right? Not a full backup. Means your system started time, right? Means take a backup from the started time to now, right? Means if you want a full backup, that means of yes, the multiple same data will be a backup now, right? So full backup. Again, restoring of files, right? See, if you have some backup, then automatically you're ready to be restored. If any problem fails, means administrator need to formulate a plan for bringing a system backup in the event of a failure, right? Means if any failure event performed by the system, then automatically system administrator task is what, yes, restore that previously take the backup, right? So again, this is important duties of system administrator, right? The next duty is what, monitoring and tuning performance, right? See, before it, that why means why we need to monitor our system, and how to what is the tuning performance. Okay, see, normally that is what monitoring and tuning basically is a concept to check of how system machine works smoothly in drastic areas, right? Means how your system is work, means what is the working of your system, right? So system administrator is the responsibility, means system administrator responsibility for improving the performance of the machine, right? So proper monitoring allows to detect malfunctioning of the application that consumes more resources than it should, right? So also it gives alert when a system component is showing early sign of the failure. Means if you are proper monitoring and tuning performance, then automatically you will get some early alert, right? Then to identify the system bottleneck and come up with the solution to fix it, then administrators should understand how various components of Linux work, right? So this is also important duties of system administrator, right? The next duty is what, so configuring a secure system, right? See, security is there, that means of again important duties of system administrator, right? Means your system should be very secure, but how this possible, right? If your system administrator is an active person, then automatically they will do something new things, or actively perform some actions on the system to be secure, right? So system administrator deals with the security of the system. So security is the ongoing process. Some security aspects are considered during installation time, while some are introduced the later also. Means installation time also some security aspects are there. You need to just select that options, right? Or after if you're not selected it during installation time, then automatically in the next also you can select some options, right? And Linux uh, see Linux is we call say in many means many of the websites are shown that Linux is a secure system, right? But see, Linux has inbuilt firewall for protection from the outside internet. Means yes, inbuilt firewall is there. So firewall server is also available on the Linux, right? And that is installed on automatically installed on the system. So administrator task is what need to be just to configure that a firewall. Depends on the use, depends on the what type of servers are used by the user. That time, yes, keep firewall on or off, whatever that the use of that particular server, right? So but a Linux system has inbuilt firewall, that is very important, right, for the system security. So the system admin implements that a firewall as a protection. So job of the system admin is to maintain the right balance between the utility and the safety, right? Again, the system is kept upgraded to make sure that it works efficiently, right? Means after some time, after some week, yes, that administrator needs to be upgrade the system because of needs to upgrade the firewall also because of many of the new attacks introduced by the attackers, right? So your system should be very protective against that particular attack. Means if you want to protect your system, then yes, you need to upgrade your system weekly or monthly, like based on your system security, right? Then for security, various methods should be taken care by the admin. Say like a password is not easily discoverable, then decide access over the system for the individual, right? Or your firewall updation, right? Or configure properly configure of configuration of firewall, or like many things are there, right? Or your port scanning by the means port scanner service, right? uh, Means keep on or off at what time, right, based on the requirement of the user. That administrator should perform this all task, right? So this is again important duties of system administrator, right? And now last duty is what, using tools to monitor security, right? So say Linux system administrator which have inbuilt number of tools are there, that tools automatically monitor the system activity, right? What should be the should be going on the system, right? uh, what are the external activities performed on the system, right? Incoming data or outgoing data from the system, right? That all the activities will automatically monitor by the different types of tools, and that all many of the tools are inbuilt in the Linux system, right? And generally we call, yes, Linux is a very secure system. Why? Because of this, right? But how this will be in active? If your system administrator is actively present, then yes, he knows that all the tools, how to use the tools, at what time that tools should be turned on and off, right? That all the things should be known by the administrator, right? So Linux prevents system from hackers and crackers. The system admin install security related packages in Linux. If there is a vulnerability in the system, they will find it, right? So the Linux development community is quick to find potential exploit and to find ways of protect, right? So the administrator task is what, just yes, use the proper tools, right? That's it. Thank you. That's all the duties of Linux system administrator. So in short, your administrator should be a very active in a whole day. That's it. That's all the duties of system administrator.